Welcome, everybody, to the On Call Coaches podcast. I'm Coach Switz, here with my co-host, Coach Zane.
How's everybody doing today?
Beautiful day here in St. Louis, Coach. Couple of things I forgot to talk about last time, Coach. Coaching a few teams this year. Talk to me about them. Coach Zane coaches 6U and 8U.
Oh, man, I've got the 6U and 8U teams for the Lady Cyclones here in St. Louis. Blast. Both my daughters play for the two different teams. It's been awesome. It's awesome to watch the girls growing up, playing hockey, having a blast with a sport that I know and love from growing up. But it's been a lot of fun to watch them get involved and really start to flourish and play.
What's your favorite thing about coaching 6U and 8U compared to Coach Zane and I coached some high school teams last year, coached some middle school kids a few years ago. What's the difference there?
Oh, man, at 6 and 8U, they're just a joy. They're so much fun to work with. There's a smile on their face, and it could be anything from skating up and down the ice doing lines all the way to playing sharks and minnows at the end of practice, and the girls just have a blast. And the biggest argument on the ice is who gets to do the cheer at the end, who gets to say 3, 2, 1 Cyclones.
Love it.
And we have to manage that if everybody gets their turn. But you have a birthday this week, Coach, you can come out and do it.
I like it. Now, the little ones are the funniest because their mind, I guess I'd say, isn't always into the game. What's one of the funniest things, you're probably trying to do something serious with a kid and they throw a fastball at you? What's a good fastball that you've heard in the last year or two?
Oh, man, there's some good ones. My daughter got me with one. She's sitting on the bench and we're talking, okay, we're working with the 8Us, taking the puck wide and moving it back to the middle. Don't just skate up the middle of the ice with the puck. Some of them are talented enough to be able to do that, but still trying to introduce the team game. Hey, take the puck wide, move it back to the middle for the shot on goal, just trying to get the basics there. And she looks over at me and she's like, Dad, after this, can we go get ice cream? And it just put me in my place of at the end of the day, they're having a blast. And that question could have been, can we go swimming? Can we go, it just depends on the week what that question is. But at the end of the day, they're having fun. They're out there, they're skating, they're getting exercise, learning an awesome sport that they can play.
We'll get that center lane drive next time.
100%, yeah.
We're going for ice cream today,
they're learning the game, they're having fun, and they're getting better. And at the end of the day, they come off with a smile on their face and worried about if we're going to go get ice cream, which, I think that's a win for everybody. I love ice cream, too. So, the answer is typically yes.
I like it. Now, last thing for our 6 and 8U parents whose kids are starting to become, starting to take sports a little more seriously. What kind of advice do you have for them to keep it, on this side of too much?
Sure. At the end of the day, as I tell the parents that I coach their kids, our goal is, one, that they're progressing, they're learning the sport, they're having fun. But if every girl who is in the Cyclones program at 8U signs up for 10U, I was a success.
Good.
That they need, number one goal is that this is a sport that you can play for the rest of your life. There's very few that when you're 65 years old, you can still be playing. Hockey is one of those. Yeah. A lot of other sports have some limit with your physical abilities and injuries and things like that. But, we play men's league hockey, and there's 65, 70-year-old guys out there on the ice that are still doing great. They're not moving as fast, but they can sure move the puck. Go play the Blues alumni. And some of the older guys that are out there with that, they make you skate in circles. They're just moving the puck, whipping it around.
So long story short, keep it fun so they play the rest of their life and not give up on it.
Yeah, there's too many that I see where it gets a little intense for them a little too early. You also have to just know your kid and know the level of interest that they truly have, not the interest that you have in it through them.
You want to give them
Yeah, that's exactly what. You can't want them to want to play the sport at a higher level. It has to be driven by them and asking. And my 8-year-old daughter just flipped that switch in the last, I'd say in the last 3 months, where she's finally asking, hey, can we do some training? Can we do some extra stuff? Where before it was okay, practice, sweet, let's go get ice cream. Now it's starting to grow a little bit more and introducing her into more, our team group states in the morning. She's really enjoyed that. This morning we were on the ice at 6 a.m. and she was up and at 'em, and in 5 minutes she was out of bed and standing by the door. Dad,
ready to go.
Dad, what are you
Come on,
doing?
Dad.
And I was like, hold on, I got to make my cup of coffee first, So you can also judge by that excitement of when you say, hey, we've got hockey tonight. If you ever get the, I don't know, probably not the right time to start pushing more. And that can apply to any sport. It's not just hockey. But when you mention the sport, if they're super excited, they're at the door. They're like a dog waiting to be just let out of the cage, to go run around.
Right.
100%. Keep going with whatever you're doing. And you can start to introduce a little bit more. But when you get that hesitation and I tell parents that I coach their younger kids, like, if they tell you it 3 times in a row, there's an issue.
Yeah.
One time it might just be, I don't want to stop watching SpongeBob. And that's just a kid's brain saying, like, I don't want to leave something fun to go do something else. But if 3 times in a row in 3 different settings they say, like, Dad, I don't really want to go to practice, or there might be something there, and you need to ask more questions. Yeah. One or two offs, not a big deal. That's just a kid being a kid. But you get 3, 4 in a row, you might want to ask some questions. You might need to dial it back a little bit, or take. I've given my girls.
Or something else might have happened in the locker room or something.
100%. You just got to dig a little bit more and see what's really going on.
All right, Coach. Well, we got a big guest today.
Awesome.
Our guest today grew up in St. Louis, played youth hockey for St. Peter's and Twin Bridges, ended up playing his high school at Pattonville, where he led his team with 28 goals, 17 assists, including a streak of 4 game-winning goals. Did I mention he had 6 hat tricks that year? After his big senior year, he went on to play hockey for the University of Minnesota's ACHA team, where he played a total of 47 games, tucked 13 Genos, and had 3 apples, all while earning a degree in physics. He now works for us at St. Louis Hockey Training, myself, where he's a private hockey coach where he's logged 6,654 private lessons over the last 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Joe Kavanaugh. Coach Joe, how are you doing today?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Doing good. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Well, Joe, you definitely didn't take the athlete track in college. I wanted to start out with, you're playing college hockey and you decided to go with a physics degree. It's not the old basket weaving that a lot of college players choose, huh?
No, it's not. I actually I had my major picked out when I was like 6.
Okay.
I had people asking me, and I knew I wanted to go to school for physics and astronomy or astrophysics back when I was like playing 6U.
How'd you pick that at 6U? A lot of people want to be firefighters and police officers, not astronomers.
Or go get ice cream.
Yeah, or go get ice cream.
One of my favorite things to do outside of playing hockey was always go to the science center. They have the planetarium there, and I would just sit and watch star shows for hours, as long as I could stay there.
It's crazy how that sticks with you for so long like that. Yeah. Now, with a degree like physics, how did you balance playing a college sport and taking class load that is required and the studying required to be a physicist?
I didn't leave my dorm room a lot on Sundays.
Okay. All right. So Sunday was buckle down day.
Sunday was buckle down day because we're getting back from road trips 2, 3 in the morning, Saturday nights into Sunday morning. And I just knew math homework was due Monday. So
buckle in.
I had to get everything done Sunday. So it was a long sitting at my desk.
Yeah, I bet. Now you came from St. Louis and you went to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. You went to the mecca of the USA hockey world. Tell me a little bit of difference when you got there where you noticed, holy cow, this is a hockey place compared to St. Louis. What's the big difference with somebody that moves there and you're like, wow, there's different? Besides the weather, obviously, it's cold.
Yeah, it's definitely very cold, and that kind of plays into the big eye-opening experience was the first winter that I was there. Driving around Minneapolis, like any park you go to has a rink built into it. And there's just countless opportunities for you to go skate.
So next to the playground, there's an ice rink.
Anywhere.
So like next to the playground equipment, there's an ice rink?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Did the fire department maintain those? That was something up in Canada when I lived there. The fire department would come around like once a day and spray down the ice to get a nice clean sheet, and then you'd play on it until you just couldn't play anymore, and then they would do it again the next day. But all the kids would show up after school at the outdoor rinks and play, and the fire department kind of kept those up to par.
I don't know if it was the fire department or the parks department.
Okay, yeah, but somebody would come around and would treat the ice every day.
The ice
so
was real good for being a built-up outdoor rink.
Yeah, where just kids play all day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
The quality ice was always really good.
Now, being from college, in your time at college, did you guys ever do any video work or anything like that? Or maybe even in the high school / Central States when you were playing, were you guys ever involved in any video? Did you have the dad that was recorded and you guys review it or anything?
We did a couple sessions when I played Central States.
Okay.
A lot of
how'd they do that? What was that like being a Central States player doing a video session?
All of us would be in one of the party rooms at the hotel, and we'd pull out a
Nice.
projector, and it was a full team setting where the coach had a laser pointer, and we'd go shift by shift and point out the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Nice. And in that team setting, were you able to stay engaged? I remember when I was playing, I felt like it was a little harder to stay engaged because I only got talked about every 9 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely more of a struggle. I do remember one video session. We cut the session one shift before I remember that I scored a goal.
That's so funny. It sticks with you to this day that you
All I
got hosed
remember,
on
I
a
don't remember
video.
anything that we talked about previous to that. I just know, like, if we would have played the next shift, I would have scored.
That is so
That's awesome.
funny.
Yep.
It's funny how things stick with you like throughout your whole life, and then it just goes into that. Now, you've started doing video lessons or video coaching training with your reoccurring lessons, things like that.
Mhm.
Uh, when you're doing that, how long are you seeing before you start seeing the players make those changes in their games, where you start seeing those glimpses of, hey, we talked about that for the last blah, blah, blah. I'm finally starting to see it. What do you see on that side?
It always change. It always depends on the kid, right? Like if you have a kid who genuinely wants to get better and take that video session seriously,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times we'll see changes in the next video session.
Okay.
Some
Oh, wow.
kids it's
Nice.
two to
Wow.
three, but it's not very many.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Now,
it's
are you working like when you're doing a video? Are you focused on like one or two things consistently throughout the tape, or are you pointing out everything that you see they could improve on?
a little bit of both.
Okay.
Uh, Certain kids that I've worked with, we've honed in on certain areas of their game that we want to work on,
Mm-hmm.
defensive zone positioning, you know, back check, forecheck kind of thing. And so that would be a focus. However, I'm not going to ignore other things that I see just to only point out the key that we were focusing on.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, your typical video client or player, what what level are they playing? Do you see more of the high level or like the intermediate level looking to get to the next level?
I've dealt mainly with like the Central States level
Okay.
or like the double A girls level I've done a couple of those. Um, but I've also worked with some single A players that want to make the jump to Central States.
Yeah.
I
Now,
think I think that's a big differentiator in today's world with the individual video sessions being so new, especially in the hockey world with
yeah.
Live Barn, that if you can have an individual video coach, that is something that not everybody is doing yet. Where it was the working out of the early 2000s, late 90s. The kids that actually went to the gym, worked out,
Yeah, yeah,
did their
yeah.
full
Mm-hmm.
routines. They made the strides that now video is helping those kids make those strides, and a differentiator that is different from the pack. Now, everybody works out. Like if you play hockey and you're playing at a decently high level, you are working out multiple times a week, and not just going in to lift weights to say you lift weight.
Yeah,
You're
you're
lifting
there with a
weights.
purpose.
You're there with a purpose. You're there with a plan. Somebody's also helping you now with your diet. That's another thing that was a big one back when we played Switz. Like if you watched what you ate and went to the gym, you instantly had a leg up. Now I think video is becoming that next thing for the individual players versus the team video.
Well, and I see that a lot
benefit.
with the higher level guys because they don't have time to hit the skating coaches and the skills coaches throughout the season because they're on the ice with all their 4 or 5 times a week plus traveling on the weekends and stuff. So I find that my higher level guys really can submit some video and still get some training during the week focused individually opposed to all just the the team training at all times.
Yep.
Now, Coach Joe, what do you cost and how do I get a video to you?
I'm currently at $4 a minute, and you can
Nice.
submit a video directly to me on oncallcoaches.com.
Perfect.
So, question for you: like a typical, let's say it's a 2-minute film that I send in. So it's $8 for me as a parent. what's the typical length of that video when it comes back? So I'm paying for the $2 or the 2 minutes that I send in, but when you're breaking it down and giving video back, about how long is that video coming back with instruction from you?
The 2 minute video will probably come back 3.5 to 4.5 minutes.
Okay.
Awesome.
I usually can find enough to almost double the length of the video.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
long
the freeze
videos.
Yeah,
But
that seems to be about
double,
what I'm
but-
doing too. I like that. Yeah, where it's about double. So for the parents, if they're paying for the 2 minutes to come in, they're getting almost double that back from the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, Coach Joe, I appreciate you coming in, talking to us. A second guest on the On Call Coaches podcast, buddy. Hall of Fame so far.
Good to be here.
I like it. Well, Coach Joe, good to see you. And that's all for us from the On Call Coaches podcast. Coach Zane,
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach Joe.
we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.